Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the 30 Days Growth Marketing course. We are already on day 28. Time went really fast.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we just started and now it's the end.
Yeah. So I hope everyone enjoyed it. It was like long lessons. But today is very special because this is one of the key concepts of growth hacking and growth marketing is to be able to leverage other people's networks and other people's audiences. Because digital marketers would typically leverage the audiences on social media or SEO through paid ads or organic outreach. Those are like the key things that digital marketers do. But with growth hacking, we also, especially tech startups, have started this culture of being able to leverage other people's networks and audiences. And let me share my screen so I can give you some examples of this. OPN is other people's networks. And this is the network the startup tapped into to acquire their first users.
Okay.
So Airbnb acquired its first users from Craigslist. PayPal got them from eBay. Lyft got them from startup offices. Nextdoor got them from homeowners associations. Tinder got their first users from college campuses. Etsy got them from craft fairs, which is not even an online channel. Dropbox got them from Hacker News. Loom got their first users from Product Hunt. So none of these are ads or SEO or social media, right? And all of these are ways of acquisition. So this shows that when we talk about acquisition with digital marketing, we are typically saying SEO, ads, social media. But all of these huge, amazing startups, none of their first acquisition channels was ads or SEO, right? And this is really how where growth marketing and growth hacking shines, because you can leverage these networks which already exist, which have your target audience, and you can find creative ways or growth hacking workflows, which is something we discussed in the previous lesson. You can design different workflows to be able to leverage this. So just to give you the Airbnb workflow. So Airbnb's workflow was to scrape listings from Craigslist and then message those people that if they also post their listing on Airbnb, right? So let's say they're looking for a tenant. If they also post their listing of Airbnb, their chances of getting someone for their listing would go up by X percentage, etc. Right? On the other hand, they would even scrape data, and then they would even scrape Craigslist listings and then put them on Airbnb as a distribution channel. So it's a two-way hack, but you can design workflows on how to leverage these networks, right? So for PayPal, they would literally have their team members, like their employees, buy products on eBay and then tell the sellers that we will pay via PayPal.
Oh.
It became so big that, it became so big that because sellers don't mind, they need to get paid. It was so big that, they started accepting PayPal officially. I mean, eventually eBay acquired PayPal. Like, that's a crazy story. But that's how they got their first users from. There's even a funny story that they sold those products back on eBay and made a profit out of them. But the hack was like literally to pay with PayPal. So it became like the preferred way of payment on this channel. Loom and Product Hunt, Product Hunt has a very good audience for Loom. They are makers on Loom, and makers would typically use screen record, screen share. Loom literally like created this category of startups for screen recording. There was no category of startups for screen recording. You would use QuickTime or something in the past, like a software that sits in your system, and probably something on Windows, which I'm not aware of. But yeah, Loom basically created this category, used Product Hunt to get their users. So those are OPNs, a big way to get users without having to go the digital marketing path.
I think that's really smart, leveraging someone else's network, and they're not even your competitors, right?
Right. So in some cases, like Airbnb. So there are different styles of OPN leverage. And I think, some of these actually cross the boundaries of ethics. But some of these didn't. I mean, it's up to you where your boundaries are. But, growth hacking is not unethical by itself. You can use a hammer in many different ways. You can use a knife in many different ways. So growth hacking can be used in many different ways. It depends on whether you want to cut fruit or something else with the knife, but that's up to you.
Yeah, all about where you want to draw the line.
Yeah, we want to give the tools to people, and then it's up to them how they want to use it. Hopefully, we'll all use it in ethical ways. Then we have other people's audiences. Now, it's slightly different than OPNs. OPNs are typically like other startups or other networks that people have built these networks. With OPAs, they are like people, right? Like they're smaller sets of audiences. And I personally use OPAs a lot. And I'm going to give you these different ways that I use OPAs with examples. Okay. So the first one is other people's podcasts. So I've been a guest on many podcasts. Here are two examples. But what happens is when I go on other people's podcasts, I am indirectly tapping into their audiences, right?
Yeah.
It's not exactly a network because it's not like a social network or an app or a community, but it's an audience. It's people who are listening to the podcast. They are being aware about me, and they could also be acquired if I'm talking about a specific sign up or a lead magnet in the podcast, right? So this is one way of using OPAs. The other one is other people's blogs. Like I have written blogs on entrepreneur.com, unmetric.com, leadsquared.com, yourstory.com. And traffic from these websites could then go back to my website and they could read about me. They could read about my author profile. Again,
These are the guest blogs, what do you call them?
Blogs. Right. So digital marketing, we call it guest blogging. Growth marketing, we call it other people's audiences. It categorizes into other people's blogs. Then we have other people's email list. Like I've even been, my products have been promoted in other people's email list as well, right? So in this email, Deepak has promoted my web scraping course saying, I introduce you to the web scraping course, click here to join the course, and then who can join it. So this is not ads, this is not SEO. This is definitely not social media marketing. So this is basically getting into other people's email list, right? You can even be a guest speaker on other people's events and hence find a new audience for yourself. You can do webinars with other people. I did a lot of webinars with Lead Squared before in 2018, 19. You can be featured in other people's ads. Like there is this ad on YouTube about financial freedom, which has 5 million views. It is by Scriptbox. I am featured in that. And then after that, random people on the street started recognizing me. So it's spreading awareness, but not spending your own money, right? So in that sense, this is very growth hacking. So within growth marketing, I would categorize this as all growth hacking. I had this, just to clarify, the reason why this is more growth hacking than growth marketing is because you're trying to keep almost like a zero budget. So you're hacking your way to visibility in that sense, right? Yep. Then you have, the A-Tribe cohort that I recently did, become a growth hacker in 8 weeks. It was an 8-week cohort, a paid cohort, of course. But, they ran ads on this page, which is also a way of me acquiring new customers without me having to run ads, right?
Yeah.
So, of course, this would only happen if you're an expert in a particular space. But then you can leverage other people's ads as well. You can leverage other people's communities. So you can literally join like other people's Slack communities. There's one that I use a lot, which is Growth Mentor. They have a great Slack community of other growth marketeers. So you can be active in that community, generate leads for yourself from that community. And then you have other people's LinkedIn posts. So there are these few LinkedIn posts where people have mentioned me, which have, a lot of reach, a lot of visibility. So if I write a post, typically either someone would pick it up and mention me, or I could just reach out to people who write these summary posts and then say, why don't you feature my content in this post, because it's very relevant. So let me show you an example here. So this person has posted ChatGPT for marketing, and then he's mentioned me and my post, right? Yeah. So this is literally like using other people's LinkedIn posts. You can see that it has 2,000 something likes, 279 reposts. So the kind of impressions, reach, visibility, awareness that I'm getting from this is incredible. Amazing. Yeah. Right. So, yeah, other people's audiences, not your audiences, but other people's audiences.
Right. Also, one way I'm seeing this is it has much to do with, I think, building that network and that healthy community, where you can go on their podcast or, be a part of their emailer, etc.
Yeah, and it all starts, like this is slightly more fundamental, but I think it all starts with really adding value. So if you have something to offer and you can add value, then these people would reach out to themselves. So they will, you don't even have to make the first um, conversation. They would actually reach out to you and feature you, etc. But if you're new, you can use some of these methods. Now that you have the understanding of these methods, you can literally use those to showcase your value to other people and say, hey, I've done this. Would you mind featuring me there?
Yeah, totally.
So yeah, that's how you leverage OPNs and OPAs. And I hope you also understood the difference between the two, right? So at least OPN, slightly different, startups leveraging other startups or other platforms. OPA,
Yeah.
typically like more on the, personal branding, podcast, blogs, email lists. So you're leveraging other people's audiences.
Yes.
I think when you do influencer marketing, you're leveraging other people's audiences, like influencers.
Audience. Yeah, all the way.
Right. Awesome. So that was all for today, and we'll meet in the next lesson. Thank you.